Hello again, and welcome to the Senior AI Podcast and Senior AI Kitchen. So I'm Mike Hayazen. We are here cooking up content and courses and messages. And so I am here on my Gemini account. And I have to tell you, I love working with Google and grow with Google and all of the history that we all have with Google. It does so many things. Now, I do work with ChatGPT networking and all of the offspring, but I really have found that I personally like to have my focus on Gemini and NotebookLM because it really works just like a kitchen. And so it's such a great way to teach seniors how to use AI without fear and feel safe, and putting it with a metaphor or an analogy, if you will, of cooking. So a lot of people love cooking, men, women, whoever of all ages. So this is where we are. And I'm going to treat Gemini and NotebookLM, which I'm going to introduce to you. And I should be doing this because I'm on my Gemini account. So I'm going to hit one button on my laptop, my notebook. There we go. I think it's working. Let's see. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. There we go. So now, as I'm talking, if you look right down there at Gemini, you can see that I am dictating to Gemini. So this is how I start every day, with checking in and following up with Gemini as a guide. Now, I use multiple bots because I don't believe in only using one. I like to have multiple sources, and I'm really, really excited today to introduce a few things to you that I want to share, especially about NotebookLM, but also about what I learned from Oxford University about what they are calling high fidelity data. Now, what that means is when you have metadata, and that is kind of the peak of data from a machine, but then when you mix it or enrich it with human feedback on that topic or on that subject, that becomes high fidelity data, or what we call expert-enriched AI. Now, I have an expert-enriched AI account that I've created using all of the feedback that I've gotten from Oxford University, from interviewing Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Grant Cardone, hundreds of the most successful experts in the world. And I have created a special account of expert-enriched AI, and that is what I use to get my product prognostication prompts out of my expert-enriched AI. Now, as you can see, I'm just kind of dictating randomly, okay? And I'm showing you about Gemini. So you can get a free account on Gemini by opening a free Gmail account. So you just open a free Gmail account, and then with that, you can open a free Gemini account. And then with that, you can open a free NotebookLM account, all from Google. And it's just a great way to use the analogy of cooking so we can take the fear out of AI. You can just listen to the Senior AI podcast and not even involved in AI and still be educated about AI and gaining media literacy just by listening to the podcast. But if you want to get involved, you can do it very simply. Like I always say, if you can order a book on Amazon, you can order content like I'm doing right now from Gemini. And I am prompting in content, and I'm going to copy and paste. Most people know how to copy and paste text, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to move it over to NotebookLM to show you what I can do with NotebookLM to create AI prognostication, which gives everybody a huge edge, especially networkers, to be able to prognosticate not only your pathway to success and how to achieve success, but how to maximize your success. And that is just a huge difference. So with the era of AI, I believe the only problem you really have is not thinking big enough. So we want to teach people how to use AI at whatever level. Stick with what I'm doing here with Gemini, and learn that, and then maybe move on to create some more content. We call it cooking up content and courses and storytelling explainers. So let me stop dictating right now, and it'll probably keep dictating. Let me see what happens. Now, I think, okay, it stopped. Now, here's what I'm going to do. And this is part of my coaching for seniors about how to use NotebookLM, almost like you are cooking. You are a chef. So now I've copied the text. As you can see, I've highlighted it. And now I'm going to move over to NotebookLM. So let me do that. And I have it highlighted here. So here we are on my private notebook, and this is what Gemini recommends, that you have a private account and a public account. so that you can, at home, we all honestly have a mess, right? In our closet or our garage or someplace. We have parts of our life that are a mess, and we don't really want our neighbors or the public to see it. So when you have two accounts like I do, and it's really easy to switch back and forth, and I'll just show you, this is my private account, but if I want to switch to my public account, I just switch there, click there, and open my public account. But right now, this is my private account because I've used so many notebooks that it's not letting me use any more today, even though I have a paid account on Gemini. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to create a notebook with the gobbledygook, basically, that I dictated. But I just want to show you what to do with the data that you get um, out of Gemini. So as you could see, and I'll show you this again, I went over here on the right, and don't forget, you can stop this video anytime you go past something that you're not understanding, because I do speed up the video to save you 20%, so you can learn 20% faster. But don't forget, you can slow down the video, you can pause it, you can do whatever you want. So, you really have complete control. But here I am. I could use a Google Doc. I could use information from a website or from YouTube, but I choose to use the copy text that I just generated in Gemini. So now let me paste this text in, and then now I can also erase a notebook very, very simply. So that's no problem at all. And even I'm just kind of playing around with it. Now we're kind of moving over to the senior AI kitchen, and this is my oven. Notebook is my oven, okay? And I created sort of the dough, if you will, of the text that I want to put into my oven. And then I come over here and I can order what I want from Notebook. So let's say I want a video, I want an audio, I want to get reports, I want to use for text, I want a slideshow. And in my private account, it's not as robust as the options that I have in my pro account, but I just wanted to be able to show you what I can do with Notebook LM, both my private account and my public account. I can create overviews, etc. Now, I'm not going to do that because I've already created some content over here, and I'd like to show you about this. This is about AI prognostication.
What if you could predict your way to a $10,000 a month Google Ad Grant?
Okay, I'm going to pause that right now. I do want to share something new with you, and that is this. Okay, so this is a copy of this, and this is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of the chroma key, but this is, here, I'll put it here. This is the column that I wrote for Direct Response TV News, the product prognosticator. And this is how I help my clients sell hundreds of millions of dollars worth of products and services through prognostication. So I would use not only my own experience with NBC TV and radio networks in New York, but you see those experts over here on this side right here, whoops, right here. And so I would enrich my prognostication with their feedback, and that is how we avoided mistakes and created hundreds of millions of dollars of products and services. I wanted you to see that because now with AI, I have amplified this success probably times 10 easily, and probably many times more than that. So I wanted to tell you about AI prognostication. And what I can do now is take all of the interviews that I've done with the world's experts over my decades of doing interviews with the world's experts and storytellers and everybody, like I say, from Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, household names that but really hundreds more that maybe are not household names, but are very, very successful people and are definitely experts. So I wanted to tell you about how I'm using their prognostication capabilities to enrich and create what Oxford University calls high fidelity data, and I call it expert-enriched AI. And that's where I get the prompts that can create prognostication. So let me go back and share with you a couple of things. So I'm going to share this one first for networkers. So this is the Networker's Edge, and this is my studio. I showed you over here all of the things that I can create with Notebook LM. So you see on my public account, which is a paid account, I have far more options to choose from. So let me share this video with you right now. And I am also using this because I'm doing this podcast by myself. I often have co-hosts, but I don't need one because I am using my notebook LM as my teleprompter. I'm reading it, I'm looking at it, I'm looking over here, I'm talking about the things that are on the screen. This is better than a teleprompter. This is just amazing help. So I'm going to share with you over here a video. And again, I did not create this content. This was totally created by Notebook LM learning machine, but I can edit it, I can change it. But let me share this without further ado because I want you to see how beneficial this is. So this is a 5-minute video that Notebook LM created, and I'm going to show you how I can share it and really even make it full screen.
All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a pretty wild AI-powered strategy that completely flips a very common business mantra on its head. It's a framework that's all about helping you win before your project even gets off the ground, just by asking a totally different kind of question. You know the phrase, right? In meetings, at networking events, failing fast is thrown around like it's some kind of medal of honor. It's supposed to mean you're agile, you're learning, you're on the cutting edge. But what if that's not the smartest way to play the game? Well, a new strategy framework is basically calling that whole idea into question. It suggests that for years, we might have been asking the wrong thing entirely. And this is the core idea, right here. Why would you sprint towards a potential mistake? The whole argument is that there's a much smarter way to do things, a method that lets you predict the outcome and change your plan before you've wasted a single second or a single dollar. So let's get into the why. Why are we always in such a hurry in the first place? I think the answer is going to surprise you. So this is what's so interesting, how this framework completely reframes the idea of speed. Look at the left side. Rushing isn't a strategy. It's a symptom of not having enough data. It's just reacting to problems based on gut feelings. But then look at the right. The goal isn't rushing, it's moving accurately. And that comes from having solid data. You're not reacting anymore, you're anticipating. You're swapping out guesswork for what the framework calls high-fidelity certainty. In other words, you actually know you're on the right path. And that brings us to the method itself, which has this great name, Project Prognostication. The whole idea is right there in the name. It's about pre-playing the game before it even starts. Now, the key here is that this is a real formal method. You're using an AI that's been expert-enriched. So think of an AI that has basically downloaded the brains of the best people in business to simulate all the possible outcomes of your project. The goal is so simple, but man, is it powerful. Figure out which moves lead to a win, and then only make those moves. Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Well, the source material gives us a super practical tool, a specific AI prompt that's called the Networker's Edge. This is the engine that makes the whole thing run. Let's just quickly look at how this prompt is built. It's got 4 parts, and each one builds on the last. First, it literally predicts the roadblocks, the top reasons you're going to fail. Then it analyzes the whole thing through different expert viewpoints. The third step is about making the win even bigger. And finally, it spits out a concrete action plan. It's basically an entire strategic deep dive from just one prompt. Okay, now let's break down what I think is the most brilliant part of this whole prompt, the expert lens synthesis. This is where you tell the AI to stop acting like a machine and start analyzing your project like 3 very different and very successful types of people. And this prognostication matrix just lays it out so clearly. You're not just asking, is this a good idea? You're asking 3 totally different questions. How do I make this thing massive? How do I need to change to pull this off? And what's the long-term lasting value here? This forces you to see your project from every possible angle. The first one is the scale lens. This is your go big or go home lens. You're basically telling the AI to put on the hat of a hypergrowth CEO or a real estate tycoon. And that forces it to look way beyond small tweaks and find ways to literally 10x your original goal. Then you've got the paradigm lens, and this one is about you, the leader. By making the AI think like a top mindset coach, you're asking about the personal growth, the leadership shifts, the internal changes you have to make to actually handle that 10x success. It's not just about the plan, it's about whether you're ready for it. And last but not least, the wisdom lens. This is the long game. This is where you tap into the kind of thinking that comes from decades of experience to find value beyond the next quarter's profits. It's asking, what's the legacy? What are we building here that's really going to last? So you run the prompt, you analyze your project through these incredible lenses. And that brings us to the most important question of all. What's the payoff? Why should you go through all this trouble? Well, for starters, it's about killing your risk. By feeding the AI all this senior wisdom, you're essentially downloading more than 50 years of pattern recognition. You get to see all the hidden dangers, the icebergs, as the source calls them, before your ship has even left the harbor. So here's the bottom line on what you get. 1, you slash your risk because you can see failures coming a mile away. 2, you maximize your win by planning way beyond the initial goal, squeezing out every last drop of profit and impact. And maybe most importantly, you get that high-fidelity certainty. You replace that nervous gut feeling with cold, hard, data-backed confidence. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The point isn't just to get a quick win. It's about building something that can last, something resilient. It's not a sprint. It's about having the right strategy to make sure you're the one left standing in the end. So as we wrap this up, the final question is really for you. When you look at your next project, your next big idea, what are you going to base your move on? Is it going to be a guess, a shot in the dark, or is it going to be a calculated, pre-played prognostication? The choice is all yours.
All right, so I'm going to let that go. And here we are back in the kitchen. And I want to share another one with you. I wanted to share that with you, how we are helping entrepreneurs to learn about AI, but also in my company, I am starting a nonprofit to help seniors, but I also have a company, a marketing company myself. And so I want to share with you exactly what I want to do to help seniors with a nonprofit, and how I am working with Grow with Google in order to start the nonprofit to help seniors of all ages and learn AI comfortably so that they can help all ages of people in their family. A lot of baby boomers have parents, they have kids, they have grandkids. So we want to help everybody in your family, and we want to help you create a family legacy, a book, a story, whatever you want, or even grow a business. And some people are kind of unretiring and need to get back to work. So we are also helping people learn how to grow a business and start a business and everything about the good, the bad, the ugly of AI. What I really want to do is show you the plan that I have to qualify to grow the Senior AI podcast. And I really welcome you to join us in the Senior AI podcast and the Senior AI kitchen to learn more, like we're looking at right now, because you can cook up all kinds of content. And I'm going to show you some more content that you can create. In fact, you know what? While I'm here, why don't I go ahead and share a slideshow. This will show you. Now imagine that was the dough and we were baking croissants or cakes or whatever, multiple things, audios, videos. And again, this is kind of using a metaphor. So I want to I think this is my, that's an overview. Okay, so I go back to the studio. This is how you're learning how to hop back and forth. And here we go. This is a slideshow. This is pretty cool. And this is one of the really great ways that I can use it as a teleprompter. So, for example, I'm doing a podcast and I'm recording on Zoom, but if you want to learn how to do a podcast yourself, then you can do the same thing and work like I'm doing with your own Zoom and using NotebookLM as a teleprompter. So stop failing fast and start winning deliberately. And that's what the product prognostication is all about. So in business networking, we celebrate speed with speed networking, but it's really all about communication and connections and different questions that we can ask and I can be talking about. I'm just kind of demonstrating because I want you to be able to use this video in order to learn how to use Gemini and NotebookLM. And so I'll just kind of skip through some things. This is more about my story, the Product Prognosticator Report. So let me X out of here. And now I'm going to show you our game plan to get Google Ad Grants. What we want to do is work with Google and grow with Google. Get this. This is a really exciting story for growing the Senior AI podcast and to be able to teach. My goal is to work with Google to use Google Ad Grants, and this is the story about it, in order to teach 1 million seniors how to use AI. So let me share this with you and make it bigger so you can see it. And here it is.
Well, we're exploring a model that says you can. It's a process called prognostication, basically creating a plan with the absolute best odds of success, all backed by data. So where do you get the best data for this? The answer is kind of surprising. It's not what you'd think. This model says the most valuable data actually comes from seniors and baby boomers, what it calls senior wisdom. And here's why. You get high volume noise from younger groups versus high fidelity contextual data from seniors. So why are seniors the gold standard for AI data? Well, it boils down to these 3 key advantages. First up, pattern recognition. They've seen market cycles repeat, so they can spot those long-term trends. Then there's emotional intelligence. They get the why behind the what, which is crucial context for any AI. And finally, their values. This helps the AI focus on long-term sustainability, not just short-term hacks. Right, so you have to prepare the vessel before the water arrives. This is all about prepping your website first. This preparation, called purpose preparation, happens in 3 distinct phases. Let's break them down. Phase A is technical conformity. Think about it. Google's not going to fund a leaky bucket, so you got to fix your site. Phase B is the content strategy. This is where that senior wisdom helps you absolutely nail Google's EEAT algorithm. And Phase C, AdWord optimization. Look, getting the grant is one thing, but you have to keep it. And this is the magic number you need to hit. Google requires a minimum 5% click-through rate, no exceptions. So you use negative keyword prognostication, basically predicting and blocking bad clicks to protect your score. But hold on, there's one more layer. It's a multi-sided perspective matrix to really sharpen the strategy. First, you look through the Tony Robbins lens. Does your site's energy actually create a user breakthrough? Then, the Bob Proctor lens. Is your site's whole vibe, its paradigm, attracting the right kind of people? And finally, the Trump/Cardone lens. Ask yourself, are you here to dominate the niche or just to participate? So that's the whole model. It's AI prediction, senior wisdom, solid prep work, and those strategic perspectives. Because look, the goal here isn't just to get the grant. It's about maximizing every single drop of it. Which leaves us with this question. What's better, a plan that predicts the future or prepares for it? This model says, why not both?
There you have it. Again, notebook from Google LM. So all you have to do is go to this web address, notebook.google.com, and that will bring you to the Senior AI Kitchen, where you can cook up all kinds of content. And this is how we want to get the Google grant and all grow together to network and bring more seniors together. We do have a live boot camp because I'm a baby boomer, so I use analogies and metaphors that baby boomers understand and other seniors. But what we really want to do is network with people of all ages to teach people how to tap into the $73 trillion senior buying power. And a lot of the tech companies are really seem to be ignoring seniors, almost sidelining them and taking them for granted. And I think that's a very big mistake. And so what we want to do is teach seniors how they can have more reasonable relationships with anybody in their life, anybody that they are struggling with. It could be a child, could be a parent, to learn about AI reasonability, to increase your ability to be reasonable with anybody and everybody in your life. You know, there's so much divisive content online. It's really separating people on both sides. And I really believe that we can build a bridge to bring everybody together in the middle through our businesses and through, our interests, our personal businesses, our private business in our life and our family. So that's what we want to do, is we want to help people to learn how to learn AI, which is the #1 skill, according to Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind. And Google is promoting learning how to learn AI because they are promoting the creation of podcasts. Now, I'll just share a little bit of this deep dive podcast with you so you can see this is what Google is doing to help people learn AI. They're helping you create your own podcast and listening to podcasts. So AI podcast listening on the go for ongoing education is what Google is promoting as the #1 way to learn AI. So here's a little bit about a deep dive. I won't play it all, but I'll share it with you.
All right, kicking off this deep dive, we're looking at something pretty specific today. It's a kind of AI planning that's designed for one thing, really, and that's to maximize the full $10,000 potential of the Google Ad Grant program, or some are calling it AI prognostication.
That's the term. Yeah, it's essentially predictive modeling. But the goal isn't just to predict success, it's to find the single best path to get you there.
So it's not just about getting the grant approved, it's about making sure that money actually works for you and doesn't just, dry up.
Exactly. The source material has this great analogy. It says you have to prepare the vessel, which is your website, before the water, the grant money, arrives.
I like that. Okay, so let's unpack that preparation because the source is very clear. Google will not fund a, quote, leaky bucket.
Mm-hmm.
So what are those absolute non-negotiable technical things you have to nail down?
Well, the first phase is just technical conformity. It starts with the absolute basics, which is flawless security. So HTTPS SSL is mandatory, no discussion there. And then you need specific landing pages. You can't just dump everyone who clicks an ad onto your general homepage. Each ad has to point to a page that solves that user-specific problem.
And site speed. I'm guessing that's huge, especially now with everything being mobile first.
Oh, it's critical. If your site loads slowly, you've lost the opportunity before the grant money even has a chance to work.
Yeah.
It's an instant fail.
Okay, so once you're compliant, you've got the vessel prepared, then the optimization phase starts.
Yes, and that's all about maximizing your success by hitting a very specific number. You have to maintain a 5% click-through rate, your CTR.
And if you drop below that,
Google pulls the plug on the grant. It's that simple.
Wow. Okay, so 5% seems like a really tight margin. How do you guarantee you're going to hit that?
It comes down to two predictive tactics. First, you use what's called direct response logic in your ad copy. It's about writing ads that push for immediate action, not just ads that inform.
Get the click.
Get the right click. And that leads to the second tactic, negative keyword prognostication.
That sounds complicated.
It just means you predict and block the search terms that will lead to wasted clicks. You do it before they can hurt your quality score. It's proactive, not reactive.
Now, here's the part of the model that I found really surprising, the AI. It relies on seniors and baby boomers for its highest quality data. Why would you choose that demographic over, say, the high volume noise you get from younger users?
Because it's about contextual high-fidelity data. Younger users give you volume, sure, but mature users provide wisdom. Seniors offer three things the AI needs for better predictions. The first is pattern recognition. They've seen market cycles, they've seen social needs repeat over decades.
Okay, I can see that. But how does that kind of life experience translate into a better ad strategy?
It feeds directly into the other 2 points. Emotional intelligence, understanding the long-term why behind what people do, and refined values. They prioritize sustainability over, quick hacks. So the AI learns to predict what kind of content builds real trust versus what's just clickbait that will burn your audience.
So that focus on trust. It sounds like it aligns perfectly with Google's own EEAT algorithm: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
It's a perfect match. When you use that senior wisdom, you automatically start building your site around things like legacy and clarity. You're emphasizing authority and longevity, which is exactly what EET is designed to reward.
Okay, so we've got the technical foundation, the data source. Now for the final strategic layer, the model talks about using a multi-sided perspective matrix. What does that mean in practice?
It just means you test your plan against a few different high-level strategic lenses. For example, one lens might be, are we thinking big enough? Are we using this $10,000 a month grant to actually dominate our niche? Or are we just trying to, participate? It's a scaling mindset.
And I imagine the other side of that is more inward-looking, right? Looking at the organization itself.
Exactly. Does the organization have total clarity on its mission? Is that communicated? Because if the website's energy, as the source calls it, isn't compelling, or if the internal paradigm is fuzzy, the grant money will just attract noise, not real partners. Internal clarity creates the external result.
So when you pull it all together, the path to maximizing a Google grant isn't luck at all. It's this really precise blend of hard technical rules, optimizing for trust with this unique data set, and then applying these high-level strategic questions.
That's it. And the most logical next step for anyone listening, according to this analysis, is to do a gap analysis on your current website. See where you fail to conform to Google standards, both technically and, maybe more importantly, strategically.
So the thought we want to leave you with is this. Are your digital strategies truly grounded in this kind of technical obedience and predictive modeling, or are you still just chasing high volume clicks? And how many of these, non-technical wisdom-based factors like assessing your own organizational clarity are you actually building into your strategy? Because that's where the true maximization lies.
Okay, guys, so I want to explain the thinking of the AI podcast listening from Google is that you can be learning on the go. So we have podcasts that are as long as 30 minutes, but what I like to do to protect your time is I start with what I call Mike's AI 2-minute briefing, so that you can listen to a 2-minute briefing like a trailer about a longer podcast to decide, is it reasonable for me to spend my time listening to the rest of this podcast when maybe I can learn everything that it has to offer in just 2 minutes? Or if you want to do a deeper dive, you can decide to do that if it makes sense. But you can learn an awful lot, even with some of the coaching, to get a good overview on the go, on your commute. A lot of people apparently are listening to podcasts while they're doing laundry or out for a walk or a bike ride or whatever they are doing. The joy is in the doing, spending time with your grandkids. There's so much that you can do and make the best use of your time for learning. But then you go, okay, well, I'm interested in that. Now I can go back and see the actual AI senior kitchen coaching to really show and tell exactly how to use Gemini and how to use NotebookLM. So I hope this was helpful. Now, the foundation is called SAFE, and it is the Senior AI Foundation.org explainers. And that is the website that I want to be in conformity with what Google wants, so that we can get that ad grant and really grow and learn from each other. And maybe you're interested in starting a nonprofit to qualify for Google Ad Grants. So I'm very excited about working with seniors. They're very close to my heart. I love them. And I've been through the 60s with my friends who, are now baby boomers and seniors. And so what we want to do is we want to help people transition from being a baby boomer to an AI bloomer and really bloom your life. The joy is in the doing, and you're going to see how much benefit there is from learning AI reasonability and how to use AI to reason with any problem, relationship that you might have to kind of straighten out the wires or iron it out, straighten things out, get some clarity, build communication bridges across all ages. So this is what I wanted to share with you. And I'm really happy that you were able to join me today. So you can check out and share. If I were you, if you know a senior maybe who's struggling, it's all about checking in and reaching out and how you can create content and reach out to somebody and share it with them. So we have a number of very proven successful strategies, like Mel Robbins talks about, one of the world's top podcasters talks about very important things, and then really ask people to share it with them. If you join the free nonprofit company that we are creating, there's no cost at all. We're not even asking for donations. We're counting on Google to support it with $10,000 a month Google Ad Grants. So we really are all about the teaching. That's where our heart is, building that trust and having confidence and show and tell. So you can see exactly what we can teach. And if you don't want to learn AI, you can learn to protect yourself and stay safe with senior AI podcast and AI podcast listening on the go for ongoing education on the go. And I hope you'll join us. I hope you will share our information. And if you want to join us on Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, if you go to our website, Senior AI Podcast, you can find the link there. And it's just drop in. You can listen, you can talk, you can participate. And if you're a senior and you have some great wisdom to share, we'd love to blend it into our expert-enriched AI so that we can get high fidelity data prompts that will improve your likelihood of not only achieving, but maximizing your success. So for the AI podcast listening.com, for the AI senior kitchen.com, and for our Senior AI Foundation of explainers, both human and virtual, as you just heard. I hope you can join us. So thanks for listening. I'm Mike Hayazen, and let's continue the conversation. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.